Great morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us again on the Bringing Value podcast. Here with Ricardo Acevedo.
Hey, good morning, guys. Just excited to share again today.
Yeah, definitely. You know, we always our off-camera conversations are amazing.
Yeah.
And it's cool because our off-camera conversations tend to lead into the next podcast anyway.
Yes, I do.
But we talked about it earlier. And just to kind of give you some background on like why this podcast is, why we're doing it right now.
Sure.
My generation, I'm a millennial, as you know. I feel like our generation, by the way, feels like kids hold us down. Now, I'll tell you what happened. So I put up an Instagram story. I don't remember the exact content of it, but I remember someone writing back to me saying, isn't it crazy, right? That our generation thought that kids held us down.
Right.
When in actuality, they're like an airplane. They're like a parachute. They float us up. And I'll tell you, like growing up, even when I was younger, I always thought, heck, if you have kids, man, you're stuck. Okay.
Right.
Like, even when I was like 22, 23, people were like, well, hey, you just had a kid. All right. Well, there goes his dreams.
Right.
Right. He used to be ambitious. He had all these ideas.
And then they're done.
They're crashed.
Yeah.
Right. And it wasn't until I saw that. And then I'm going to talk about it later too. I talked to one of my friends. I think we got it wrong. I think we literally got it wrong. And I know it's weird to say that, but to know that this many years that I thought kids would hold you down. And I know you have 10 children.
I do.
And I think when I asked you the question at first, you kind of gave me the exact opposite answer, and I kind of wanted you to share that. So could you walk me through like what because you're successful, let's be honest, as a human being and on financial as well.
Well, it was an interesting question because when you told me, hey, we're going to discuss this topic, because I've been hearing a lot about this where, our younger generation feels that kids are going to hold them up from their dreams.
Yeah.
I was very shocked about the answer and understanding of what you were hearing, because it resonated immediately with us as being the full opposite. And that's when I said, no, hey, listen, you got to stop. That's not even the case, because for me and Sandra has been completely the opposite. When we first both met each other and we fell in love with each other and we got married, we were both just very, in a sense, hungry to succeed in life, to be able to make each other proud of each other. Like, hey, I was the husband and the man of the house, and I wanted to become successful in life so that I can make my wife proud. But then later we have our first kid a year later after we got married, and something new came home that brought so much light, so much drive, and so much, empowerment to say, hey, if she was obviously the main purpose of me wanting to become successful in life, because she was, I wanted to make her proud.
Be a good husband, strong husband.
Exactly. Now I have a child that ties in. Now I have two reasons why I got to make this family proud, and I got to provide, and I got to become successful. I got to work hard to fulfill my dreams so that I can provide for them the best life they could ever have.
Mm-hmm.
So for I was, it was different. Every child, from child one to the next child, it just brought up more light into the fire and more drive to do bigger and greater things, because there was another beautiful thing that God has placed in our hands to develop and to nurture and to care and love for, and that brought us obviously more motivation to do bigger and greater things.
Yes.
Now 10 kids later, think about our story, think about obviously the drive and the motivation. Yes, has it been difficult? Of course has been difficult, but the difficult part did not supersede the love and the care and the drive that our child has brought to our family. The emotion and then the love to be able to know obviously what that little guy or little gal has brought into home, that we know it's a blessing, and that we have bigger commitments in life to do bigger and greater things in life.
I feel like my generation, and I was guilty of this too, and I still might be guilty because I don't have kids yet,
yes.
but I'm trying to recalibrate my mind right now. It's like, well, kids are a huge responsibility,
of
right?
Course.
They're a lot of time. They're going to suck out all my time. And especially as the driver that I was before, and even now working, 10 hours, 8 hours, 12 hours.
Sure.
I don't think that's possible when you have children, right? It's like, well, I can't work 12 hours a day. I can't be away from my children for that long and so forth. What would you say to someone like that? That's like, hey, like they're just too much of a commitment and they're going to suck all my time out.
Yes, but see, that's when you start being more productive with your time.
Okay.
Because your time shrinks.
Yes.
Therefore, that's when you start becoming as efficient as possible, and you start making better decisions.
Yes.
And you become starting not just staying busy,
right,
but staying productive. Because because you know that you have this beautiful thing at home waiting for you, and that you got to get back home. So it gives you, and again, it's all about perspective on how do you see it, right? How do you see it? I'm not going to think it as a negative thing. Oh, it's a problem. It's going to create problems. It's going to throw my dreams off. Or is it going to bring and nurture my dreams, where I got to become more efficient and I got to become more productive with my time, because I got this precious, kid at home and my wife waiting for me, that I got to get back home and I got to spend time and be there and obviously love and share times with them. So it for me personally, man, it made me more productive. It made me more conscious about my time, and it made me become more effective on how I spent my time to be able to produce what I needed to produce within shorter period of time, so that I could get back home and spend time with my family.
Were you producing more in less time as you were going through this process?
Absolutely. I was obviously producing more, being more efficient, because I had less time on my hands. Therefore, I had to become more creative on how to be more productive, on how to spend less time, but be as efficient or more efficient than the time, than the hours I was spending before. So yes, of course, it brings so many, again, things that you can obviously create as a positive environment, versus obviously a negative outcome. If you obviously look at it that way, that it's going to bring, obviously, in a sense, your dreams down. You're not going to have enough time for this no more.
Yeah, it's like
your relationship with your wife is not going to be there no more, because now there's a child. Some of those areas suffer. Of course, they're going to suffer. But obviously, if you plan things correctly and you become more effective with your time, areas will suffer less. Based on the commitment and based on what that brings as far as enjoyment and satisfaction and love into the actual household.
So you'll reap much more than what your suffering, quote unquote, is.
That is correct. Yeah.
I think what you're touching up on, we heard this term because I was thinking of when you were speaking right now. It's like, what's your why?
Correct.
Right? We hear that all the time. Like, well, what's your why? Like, what's your purpose? Why are you doing what you're doing?
Right.
It can't be just a car. It can't be just a house, right? It has to be something. Is that what the children are in like a sense? Like
for me, they were, Seth. My wife was my first why, and then my children came. And every child, obviously. So in reality, if you really think about our success, every children that God has placed in our responsibility have been the reason why our drive and our commitment and our discipline and our, and our persistence in life has been, because I have 11 whys.
Wow.
And they're the ones that drive me to want to continue to grow and get better. And even now, if you obviously really think about it, I have 11 reasons as to why I need to continue to become better and continue to work on myself, because I'm a leader at home. Therefore, I have 11 reasons as to why I need to become the man I need to become, because I want to be able to make them proud, and I want to make sure that they see a good man of values, a good wife, a good husband, a good father, that one day, I'm going to be able to make an impact on my family, and they obviously are a product of what they saw at home. So it's a bigger and bigger commitment every single day that keeps me on my toes every single day to stay engaged, not only with my business, but just engaged with life, because I got to become a better father, because I got to lead them better every single
spiritually,
day.
Physically,
in all aspects of life.
I didn't think about that. You're right. They're looking up to you in all aspects.
In all areas. How do I take care of my body?
What am I eating?
How do I speak to my wife? The relationship I have with my wife. My business, the way I talk, the way I walk, the way I do life, in every area. So for me, it's a huge commitment that keeps me, in a sense, man, being just humble and being wanting to learn more and more every single day, because I am responsible for what they become.
I really liked what you said right now, which is like an epiphany for me. It's like your relationship with your wife probably got better, because think about it. It's like, you're right. Your children are looking at you. Your children are going to define love. They're going to define what a healthy relationship looks like.
Correct.
Because their first relationship with what love looks like is their mom and dad.
Right.
So it's like, well, hey, dad's treating her like this.
Right.
If you're treating her well and she's treating you well, vice versa, and there's a very healthy love going on, they're automatically going to instill with that love. Like, this is what love
That's
looks
what
like.
they're going to take over to when they get married.
Wow.
What they see at home, that's what they're going to take to their marriage
Yes.
or their relationships when they get,
Yes.
and their own kids when they have their kids. So
Yes.
obviously, us as parents, either we could say, oh, they don't pay attention to that and be careless and say, oh, they don't pay attention to that, or we do know that they pay attention to that and we still don't care,
Yes.
and we don't do anything about it.
Yes.
Do you see what I'm saying?
do.
But I choose to care, and I choose to continue to make sure that I'm fully aware about it and that I continue to work on myself, because what I did wrong in the past, because I did not know,
Yes.
I want to make sure I correct it, I fix it, I improve it.
Yes.
Therefore, I can still instill on them what I feel is the right principles and values for them when they go out and on their own in life.
Yeah. I want to kind of like put that in a summary where we talked about the drive, which I was talking about financially at first, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it's not just a drive financially, it sounds like. It's a drive in all aspects of your life.
For me personally, it has been. It started in certain areas, and those areas evolved into other areas.
Yeah.
First, obviously, yes, we wanted to become great parents, loving and caring, but we needed to bring, obviously, strong finances into home so that we had, obviously, freedom, and we were able to do and choose what to do, obviously, within our time. But as the evolvement happened, business started growing, you start obviously evolving and maturing, and you start understanding the areas that need improvement, that are lacking, that you feel you're not doing a good job, because it's a constant, for me, it has been a constant evaluation of myself, where I'm at, where I want to be.
Yes.
And therefore I seek and search for answers and information that are going to help me create better habits and create better balances on those areas, because every single day I evaluate myself. What areas am I doing well? What areas am I not? And I want to be able to do well in all areas so that I can translate that leadership into my home, because that's my true purpose in life.
Yes.
I want to be that man that I'm able to really contribute on all areas of life into my children and the people that I lead and the people that it's around me. So therefore, I'm constantly evaluating myself and looking for answers and working on myself so that I can obviously work on those areas that are lacking.
Yeah, like as you're saying that, two things are really digesting for me. So first thing is like, well, the child wasn't maybe the only solo factor, but it was a large contributing factor to get you to get a higher drive.
Yes.
And then eventually when you started succeeding in those other drives, it led you then to more original ideas that were more for betterment of yourself as well.
That is correct.
Right? It was like a gateway to these other beautiful things that you're working on in your life for that fulfillment.
That is correct.
And I'm not saying, again, it was not the only factor, but the child was a big factor of that.
For us, it was,
in
my opinion, I said it was the main driver from the get-go.
Wow.
My wife
that ignition
was the first, and then the child came, and it was just that a beautiful experience, man.
Yes.
This beautiful thing, it's a creation
from
me and her, right?
Yes.
This kid depends on us. I want to make this kid proud. I want to do everything and anything that it's obviously within my reach to bring happiness and fulfillment to this child. And that was the original, obviously, portion that just turned us and gave us that turn on switch to say, man, we gotta do big and great things in life, because we want to build a new generation that is going to be obviously amazingly built, because we were the pioneers of this new obviously legacy and this new obviously generation that was born from this firstborn child.
Yes. Wow. And the second thing I wanted to digest is, I've seen this on social media a couple of times, and like as you're talking, it's starting to make more sense to me. Like I've seen especially mothers that would say things like, oh, like I didn't know what I wanted in life till I had my child. Right. Like it's almost like they do a full 180.
Well, you mature a little bit more when you have a kid. You definitely mature.
Yeah.
Majority of people do. Not everybody, but majority of people mature because of the process, because of the experience. I was there every time my child was born. I was physically there. I saw my wife deliver that kid.
Yes.
And it changed my life, seeing that a new life came from a product of our love.
Yes.
And just having that experience, man. And going back and just having this discussion, it brought me back to that moment. It was a changing moment in our lives.
Yeah.
It's just seeing that this life was created
Yeah.
from both of us, and the commitment and the love that you have for that child is just
Is it
unconditional.
like instant too?
That, yeah, of course, because I was there, 10 times, and
Yeah.
I saw it from the first to the 10th,
Yeah.
and it's a life-changing experience for sure.
Wow.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a driving factor. And I know we talked a little bit off camera because again, I'm still calibrating. I'm digesting everything you're saying,
Yeah.
and I'm getting new epiphanies as we're talking. But going back to what we talked a little off camera is when I was like 21, 22, one of my clients is Christian Fuentes, a good friend of mine as well.
Mhm,
He's a friend of yours too.
Yes.
And I remember we were at a Speed Zone. It was like a place right here in like City of Industry where they do go-karting and stuff. And I was shooting video, and he comes up next to me, and his children and his wife were on the go-kart.
Yeah.
He stands next to me. He goes, well, he points to them. He goes, you see that, Seth? I'm like, yeah. He goes, that's my fire. Like, if you
Mhm.
want fire, you get some kids out
Right.
there. I'll tell you, at that moment, it didn't resonate with me. Like,
Yeah.
I was thinking, like, and this is someone that I really respected.
Of
And I still
course.
respect to this day. Like, and I just couldn't understand what he was talking about. And then
Yeah.
I think as I'm getting older and as I'm starting to realize, like, hey, Seth, like, you were wrong. And it's not just you, Seth. It's
Right.
Unfortunately, it's a lot of your friends and a lot of your generation.
Yeah.
Because again, I hear it all the time. Oh, once you have kids, you can't travel. Or once you have kids, you can't go out and do your dreams anymore. Once you
Right.
have kids, you have no more time. Like your whole life goes down like a spiral. And that's not the fact, is it?
Well, I think you have to experience it, right? And depending on the experience that you have and
Yeah.
whether you're ready for it or not.
Correct. Yeah.
You see
Yeah.
what
I'm
I'm
not
saying?
condoning that everyone goes out there and have a child.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's just everything comes within time, but don't let that hold you. If your thought is, hey, I'm not going to have a child because this is what's going to happen. That's, in my opinion, that's
wrong.
untrue.
Yeah.
That's untrue. It's wrong because if you are ready and you found the right person, in my opinion, it's going to do the opposite for you.
It's going to
both.
elevate it.
It's going to elevate that. It's going to bring you more even closer. It's going to allow more love at home. And it's going to allow just more alignment with dreams and plans that you have, because there's one thing that drives you
Yes.
to do those things that you've been wanting to do.
Yes.
That's how we took it. That's how Sandra and I made that effect in our life. But again, it's just a different perspective and a different way of seeing things on how it has happened to us,
Yes.
and potentially what other people is possibly thinking that might be not obviously what they think obviously it is.
I think we're talking about what you said earlier, and it really hit me, was it's based on your mindset. Like, I guess you're right. If you have a child and you think it's going to ruin your life and you think it's going to,
then it's going to
do the same,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So like, I feel like the point of this message we're trying to push today is don't think that.
Yeah.
And if you're on that fence, or if you think you're ready, but I guess some of the ideas are,
Yeah.
well, I don't want to have my time. It's like,
Switch
the
the
switch.
mindset.
Yes, exactly.
Switch it and understand, no, it's actually the opposite.
yes,
If you haven't had success in life, and if you're trying to find that thing and that why,
yes,
maybe that why is on a child
or a
that
family.
is going to come and it's going to bring that to be able to actually allow you to turn that switch on
Yes.
that you've been trying to turn on for the longest period of time.
And think about it. It gives you purpose immediately, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Validation. You're a father or a mother or a husband or a significant other, like even in
Exactly.
a relationship. It's
Exactly.
instant validation in existence.
Yes, that's correct.
Holy cow. And I think one thing I also want to think, I told you off camera, was when this first message came into my Instagram, I reached out to one of my best friends who just had a
Mhm.
child, beautiful baby girl, blue eyes, holy cow, incredibly good looking
Yeah.
child. And I called him, and because he's never been ambitious, right? So
Mhm.
I called him, I go, hey man, like, weird question. He goes, what's up? Elementary best friend, by the way.
Yeah.
I said, hey, you have a girl now. Do you feel more driven? And it was like an instant, like, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like, are you kidding me, man? Like, and he's been making bigger changes in his career ever
Right.
since. And like, it's evident.
Right.
He's more full of energy.
Right.
He shaved his face, looks younger again. Like there's more of a glow to him
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
right? And is that it's like that might be like one of the side effects, huh?
Well,
Like,
because think about it, man. A beautiful, a child, a beautiful baby. I mean,
Yeah.
wouldn't it bring obviously happiness to a home if you're not obviously feeling well? It's like when I used to labor after work, man, physically labor all day long.
Yeah.
I was tired.
yeah,
And even now, when I get home, and if I'm tired and I walk in through that door and I see my kids,
instant.
I forget about
Yeah.
the fact that I'm tired, because they bring so much energy. They bring so much love. So I used to physically labor in construction within my first years when I got married. And I used to come back home, Seth, and I was tired. I was dirty. I was just tired, dead tired physically. And I would walk in through that door and my kids would run to me and just say, Daddy, Daddy, and just run at me and hug me. Man, those moments, I would just fully forget about me being tired at all, that tiredness was no longer there because of the energy and the love and what it all brings.
Yeah.
So it's an amazing experience, man. Obviously, we've had that experience, with 10 different child. Every single one of them has been different, but every single one of them has been special. There's a saying in our culture in Mexico that says that every child brings, it says a torta underneath here. I don't know why they say it, but what they say is that every child brings a blessing to the family.
Oh, wow.
So every child is going to bring you a blessing that is going to help you grow in life even more. So till this day, I believe that because it's within our core beliefs and in our traditions that every child has a torta underneath the arm. And that means he's bringing wealth.
Yes.
He's bringing opportunity. He's bringing something that is going to help you grow because he's coming as a blessing to the family and not as a curse. It's a blessing.
Wow.
And a blessing brings abundance.
Holy cow. Well, listen, I think we're about 20 minutes in now, so I think this is a good place to end. Again, I wanted to make this topic because I wanted to just get the topic out there and really get people to start maybe second guessing. And I mean, because you're making me think. I mean, not even prior to walking in, but like now I'm digesting it. Like I think it was untrue.
Well, and obviously this is not about saying, hey, yes, just go out and have a child, right? If you're in that time in life where you have a wife or you have obviously your other half and you guys are obviously on that moment where you're questioning yourself that, hey, we want to have a child, but we feel if we bring a child, this is what's going to do to us. Change your mindset, change your perspective, or at least look at two sides of the story, evaluate and they make a decision obviously, because it's not all about this, but at the same time, it's not all about this. It's figured out, balance it out. And is that an opportunity to give you another perspective to say, hey, listen, it might bring
more
this blessing into my life that I've been looking for. And hopefully our story and our experience brings obviously a different perspective to someone that needs it at this moment.
Absolutely. Well, hey, awesome. You want to leave any closing comments?
No, it's just another great podcast. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope it brings lights. I hope it brings answers to some of you guys that are searching for answers in life. And I think that the message comes when you're ready to listen to it and when you're searching for that answer. And I hope that this does today for someone that is looking for certain answers in their life.
Awesome. Well, hey, listen, I thank you so much for joining us again. Till next time.